Hi everybody and welcome back to Cooking with Mrs. C, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a simple biscuit called a jammy bun. It requires not many ingredients at all, and it was probably one of the first things that I learnt to make when I was a little girl. I remember it very well, and so I thought it'd be a good one to teach you, and something that you can make with your family. All sit down, have a nice cup of tea, cup of coffee, and enjoy a nice little sweet treat. So the first thing that I've done is I've put the oven on at 190 degrees C, and I have lined 2 trays of greaseproof paper. We're going to use the creaming method first of all, and so into our bowl we're going to put in 100 grams of butter and 100 grams of sugar. And we're going to use the back of our wooden spoon to use the creaming method. And we're going to squeeze that against the side of the bowl, helping the sugar to mix in with the butter. And we're looking for a really creamy mixture. So as that butter softens, the sugar will dissolve into the butter. You'll hopefully notice the mixture getting lighter because of all the air you're going to put in there. And we should end up with a really lovely fluffy mixture that's a bit paler than when it started out and a bit lighter due to the air. So after about 5 minutes of beating, or if you've got an electric whisk, that's even better, you should have a really fluffy mixture. All right, we're then going to get 1 egg here, and we're going to lightly whisk the egg to break up the yolk and the white. Just a little mix with a fork, like so, checking for any shell. You don't want to have any shell in there. And we're going to pop that into our creamed mixture. Beating it really well. Okay, you should be really good at this by now, as I know a lot of you were when we were still at school. Really beating that well so that the egg doesn't split, and we've got our lovely fluffy mixture still in the bottom of our bowl. Try and keep it in the bottom of the bowl, not all up the sides. All right, using the back of that wooden spoon and getting those muscles working. So next to add is some self-raising flour, and I think luckily now a lot of shops have got self-raising flour back in, and we're going to use double the amount of the sugar and the butter that we've already used. So what is 2 times 100? 200 grams, exactly. So I've got 200 grams of self-raising flour, and I'm going to add it a little bit at a time using a sieve. So we want to keep our biscuits lovely and airy. So add a little bit, put it to the side, and stir this time, not really beating it as such, but just giving it a good stir to incorporate. That means to get into the mixture the flour. Okay, and we're going to carry on adding it a little bit at a time until we've used up all of the flour. Now as you keep adding the flour, it will get stiffer and it will get more difficult to stir. Don't lose patience with it, just battle on. See it as exercise for your arms, and you will see that all that flour gradually goes in and forms a nice stiff dough. Okay, and that's what we want it to look like. We've got our dough and we now want to make 12 pieces. So we're going to start by cutting it in half. We've got 2 pieces. We're then going to cut each half into half again. So we have got 4 quarters. Now this is the bit of the tricky bit. So we've got our 4 quarters, and how many do we need to cut each quarter into to make 12? So this is where our 3 and 4 times table comes in very handy. So we've got 4 quarters, so if we cut each piece as evenly as we can into 3, we've got 3 there, another 3 makes 6, another 3 makes 9, and then that last quarter into 3 makes 12. We're then going to get our baking tray, and we're going to get each piece of biscuit mixture and we're going to roll it, so no rolling pin needed. We're going to just roll it into a sphere using our hands and place it onto the baking tray. And we're going to do that with each of the pieces of the dough, trying to get them as evenly as we can, because we want each biscuit to cook evenly. So that's why we try and get everything a similar size. Space them out onto your baking tray, because as they go into the oven, again, this is your science, all that fat, that butter or margarine that we've used will begin to melt, and your biscuits will start to spread a little bit. And we want to keep them a really nice shape. We don't want them really to merge in to one another. Okay, so rolling them, this is really good for your fine motor skills. So we'll help those of you that need that little bit of extra help with that. And I too have been practicing Miss Matthews and Miss Le Bon's videos. I think they're brilliant to do with using your fingers, because that really helps with your cooking as well. All right, so we've got one baking tray there, and then we'll do the same with the other baking tray. Once they're on the tray, you're just going to flatten them a little bit using the flats of your fingers. Just pressing down lightly, keeping that circular shape, that round shape, like so. So we've got our biscuits on our trays, and all we're going to use now is our finger. And we're going to press a little hole in the centre, not all the way through, just a little hole, a little indentation in the centre of the biscuit. Okay, like so. All right, and the same with the other tray. In the centre. I'm sure yours will be a lot more even than mine. Alright. So using those fingers to make a little indentation. Okay. Now you can use whatever flavour jam you've got in your fridge or in your cupboard. I'm using some blackcurrant jam. Some of you have got strawberries growing, might have your homemade jam. Lucky you if you have. Alright, and we're just going to put a little teaspoon of jam in the centre of the biscuits. Don't overfill them, because jam gets very hot when it goes into the oven. Alright, just enough to fill that little hole. Again, this is really good practice for your motor skills. Making sure that your eye is on the spoon and you're getting it in that hole, not everywhere else on the biscuit or on the tray, in the hole. Okay, like so. It's better to take your time than rush it and make a mess. And like so. And I'm going to do the same with the other one. Once you've done that, they go in the oven for 12 minutes, and we'll see what happens after they're cooked. So our 12 minutes are up and I've let them cool on a cooling rack for a little while, because you have to be really careful when these come out of the oven because the jam will get really hot, so just be very careful. All right, but when they're nice and cool, and have a little look, a little smell. Nice and sweet, crunchy on the outside, soft on the inside, really nice and fruity and jammy. Have a play around with them. Try experimenting with the flavour of the biscuit. In your mixture, maybe put some grated lemon or grated orange, a little bit of cocoa powder, some chocolate chips maybe, different jams in the centre. Have a little play around. I'd love to see your photographs. Keep washing those hands, keep safe, miss you lots, see you soon.